Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing all right. I am doing better today. As you know, I was a little worked up yesterday thinking about how they want to usher in acceptance of lusting after children. Yeah, I've calmed down somewhat, but uh, it, you know, I think about it almost every day anyway because of the things I've been around in my life, not for me just personally, but things that have happened to my loved ones and other people that I know. And like I've told people before, if you've ever held a crying elderly person that has been abused, um, from the young into the old, it affects everybody in that way. It's heartbreaking. So yeah, I get a little disturbed thinking about it. Ooh, talk about disturbing. Dr. F was on Face the Nation this morning. He had two different segments on there, and he was talking about all the statistics and whatever. But the interviewer asked him if he was concerned about people wanting to charge him with treason. And that little freak laughed, but he looked nervous and he's like, oh, no, no, nothing like that. And I'm thinking, yeah, we'll see about that. I know there's a God, and one of these days he's going to put the hammer down, and these people are going to pay for the crimes that they're doing to other people in the name of money and fame and whatever they're doing and why ever they're doing it. So we'll see. So it's just a matter of time. Hopefully, it will be in my time. And I think it's going to be. That's just my observation that sure, things can get a lot worse, and they probably will. But I really don't want to see it. Not, I mean, I don't think any rational human being would want to see the world get any worse than what it is. So, yeah. Some people, they kind of care. Here's a for instance. I have a somewhat of a friend on Facebook that writes some really interesting stuff, but doesn't have the backbone enough to have the share button on there. So I said, I wish I could share, and I won't name genders, writes back. Um, why can't you? I just erased my comments. It's like, if you don't get it that your share button isn't available, then, reading the information that I already know, but I'm not able to share it for other people. And then if I copied it, um, and that would be like plagiarizing her stuff and not giving her credit for it. I don't like doing that either. So I feel like, oh, and I said her, okay, I feel like she's a narcissist because here she'll share some information. I think she's in the medical profession, but is too chicken shit to put the share button on it so I can pass it around to other people. And it's like, I already know this. So when you're preaching to the choir, I mean, that might be one thing. You better be one hell of a preacher before you start doing that shit to me anyway. Um, to me, in most cases, I don't accept it. I only talk to God. But if I hear God's words through people, certain people, I know that it's true like that. I get I get a cold ass vibe from this person, and actually I friended her 'cause she asked me, and she was a friend of a friend, and the friend she's a friend of has been abused and had an accident and had a head injury, and actually gave her some bad advice, and I corrected it. And so I've been kind of watching from there on out. So um just some just talking like usual. Or not usual. I've been pretty quiet all day. It's been a nice quiet day. I took some more turkey out for the kitties, a whole pan of it. I have two different pans that I use for them, and they all have their own dishes and um, different things I keep clean for them. And uh, my friend Darla on here had a really great idea to get some straw. Hay is green and it has moisture in it, but straw is dry and it's good for bedding for animals. After having raised all kinds of farm animals and stuff, you think that would have occurred to me with them kitties? It didn't. But now I'm determined to get at least a few bales of straw. I have one box that has straw in it. Before my chicken was gone, it was fresh in there and she never sat in there anyway. She liked when I first got the chicken first walked into the yard, I had this old cage, and she would still sleep in that old cage instead of this beautiful roost that we made her. Um, she went right back to where she was used to, and so never used it. Doug put in all this kind of work making a roost and a ramp, and the chicken never even used it. So I'm going to incorporate it into the kitty stuff, and we're going to have some nice weather coming up here. So, excuse me. Probably, they said really even near 60 degrees coming up here in a few days. So, like 40s or even 50. But today it was over 40 degrees. The sun was shining and it was just beautiful out. So when I cleaned up that turkey and I was able to freeze about almost, well, a couple pounds and some of my gravy to make like hot turkey sandwiches, or potatoes, whatever, with it. Sometime take it out of the freezer and have an instant meal. And I took some extra gravy and poured it over all that turkey for them. And I had told the mama that I would have more today. She was out on the hood of we have a dump truck, and she was out on the hood of the dump truck looking in the kitchen window, like asking me, "Are you going to bring some out?" Sitting in the sun. And I was about ready to do that anyway. So I cleaned it up and got it out there. Well, on the way out there, the one I call Heart Baby and Puma, one came one direction, and I was just coming around our wood pile by the house, and um, Puma come this way, and Heart Baby came that way, and they hit each other so hard, they just about knocked each other out to get that turkey. And like I say, they've got crunchies in their house continuously. I never let my animals run out of food. I just let them eat what they want to eat. My dog was like that too. She'd just go eat a couple bites, and when she was full, she was full, you know. And I've done that with big dogs. I've just opened up the bag of dog food, and it's like, eat when you want to eat. I don't deprive anybody of anything, and their dishes are always full. I don't see no reason why. I wouldn't want anybody withholding food from me till a certain time of day. Maybe that's good if you have, like, you're working and whatever. I could see that, you know. But being with them every day. Oh, I'll tell you something too. Um I might have told you about, excuse me, I'm going to light a cigarette. I might have told you about this Rottweiler Lab mix. These people over by the lake wanted me to take their dog that is 2 years old. So, and her name's Coco, and she's a real pretty dog. She reminds me of Bowie off of Robin's Hood um, channel. He's got a boxer, I think lab mix, but it's a black dog. Well, Coco looks a lot like Bowie, and a real pretty dog. But I asked the people, first off, they spelt my name with a small b, first strike. But I overlooked that. So I asked them, why do you want her gone? They wouldn't answer my question, and they sent through two pictures of her laying out on the grass with a tennis ball in front of her. And still would not answer my question. And I said, well, you didn't answer my question. I said, I think you need to keep her. you know, she, he or she laughed. It had some kind of name I couldn't pronounce, the people. So they just laughed at me, and it's like, well, then keep her. Could be like when I had my son's pit bull here, Grizzly, when he was chocolate lab and pit bull and husky mix, but he looked like a pit, just a cocoa colored pit, and about like this, little darker maybe, and he tried to chew through the wall. First he clawed at it, the drywall, and then couldn't get out the board on the other side of the house on the outside wall, but he destroyed the inside part of the wall trying to get after my son when my son left him in the house and went to town and left his dog here. Well, after that, actually, I ended up training the dog and taking care of it as good as I could, but it ended up getting shot because my son taught him how to jump over a cattle panel. We had a 30 by 30 dog kennel, and I had Buddy and Grizzly at the time, and Buddy was Great Dane and Newfoundland, so he's a big guy. But so I had these two huge dogs, and he taught Grizzly how to jump out of that. And the one part, well, they were like 8 and 9 feet high. He thought it was funny. Well, his dog got out and ended up getting over at the neighbors and got shot. So, not too funny. I did get him, we got him into the doctor, and he lived another year, but he literally had one of his testicles blown off and went up through the back of him. The bullet did. And they put shunts and draining and all that stuff on that poor dog, and he lived for another year after that. So he might have had some really bad internal damages too that we didn't know about. So but that was not cool. So he didn't really learn his lesson. He ended up getting more than one dog after that, and then would leave them somewhere. So I mean, I know it does happen. I had to leave one once when I moved that I had for 9 years, and that was it still haunts me, to have to leave a living being that's a part of your family, because I had to get on a bus with my child, so I had to make a decision. Back in the days before children, I would have just put out my thumb, and in fact, I got a lot of rides when I was way younger just because people liked my dog, So, yeah. So, anyway, yeah, I was watching Shawn Baker, MD channel. He's into the carnivore diet, and I'm not strictly into it. I guess um, I'm do both. I have fruits and vegetables and meat. So I'm not prejudiced. No, but he's pretty big on making sure people get the right amount of protein, and that's way higher than what the average person thinks your body requires protein for your muscles to work. And the best time to eat your protein is at night. And now there's another thing that a lot of professionals will disagree on, but I know that the protein goes into your muscles when you're sleeping, and the best time to eat it is at night. Maybe not after a certain time at night, but it doesn't matter to me. Um, I've kept physically strong by doing things the way I do them, so I'm convinced that it works, you know. So, omitting all the accidents I've had and bad things happen to me, but I'd really be a beast if I never had no injuries or allergies or but I guess I don't have to be a beast because I'm a woman. But I think in the Bible we're considered beasts or among the beasts. I don't know. Yeah, I do know. We can be beastly sometimes. So I was a little beast like yesterday. I realize that. And I know it's not the most pleasant thing in the world, but I really do need to get my aggressions out, and talking about it does help. So I'm glad that you know, I didn't get out of control. I didn't name any names, and I didn't threaten anyone because I did get a strike after that one time with when Biden was threatening everybody. That video got took down, so and I got a strike. So, but like I said, I'll find a way to be back if they try to eliminate me. You'll see my face out here again. So I'll just try to behave. I won't try, I'll just do that, and not mention any names, you know, whatever. you know. So, but that Shawn Baker, he's been eating red meat, a carnivore diet for over 5 years, and he was a Mr. Universe, and now he's getting his kid into lifting weights, and I told him, and he said, some people will say that that's not good for a child's development. He's a um, orthopedic surgeon on bones, and he's pretty bright when it comes to bodybuilding. So he's got his 9-year-old lifting weights. This one vegan said, if your son, his son's name is Luke too, Lucas, if Lucas can at 9 years old by the end of the year, and he just turned 9 the day before Thanksgiving, if he can deadlift 200 pounds by next year, this vegan is going to eat some meat and take a video of it. And Dr. Shawn's like, that's probably no problem. And today he had Lucas, while he started out with kettlebells, lifting like 80 pounds. And then he went to the weight to deadlift. He did like 100 pounds, then 115 pounds, and 120. By the end of the day, the kid wanted more and more. And I could see he could probably even do more than that. But, he's like, he deadlifts like 380 pounds, 10 reps. And I told him when I was 9, when I started, I could press, well, deadlift and then press. So, um, 50 pounds, 10 reps. And then the first time I did like 80 pounds, I was just enthralled. I almost fell over. I was so happy. I was probably about 10 then, but now I can deadlift monstrous amounts of weight. And that's not no joke. It's true. So, um but he said like women normally it's like 180, you know, maybe 10 reps of 180. Mm, maybe. Maybe a little more than that, you know. So anyway, yeah. I can take my 400-pound wood cook stove and move it around, things like that. So, yeah. Or even like, well, some of my bales were like 1,300 pounds, but they were round. I could get them moving. But some of the 900-pound ones, I'd have to put my back into it and use my legs. But I could literally move almost 1,000 pounds dead weight sitting there with no incline or nothing to get it moving, to get it over by the fence where I wanted it when our tractor went out on us. So, I mean, I'm just talking that I really am strong because I started doing this when I was really young. And even before I started lifting weights, I was into wrestling and really active. We had like a ping pong table. And so even in the winter, I was like ice skating and skiing and snowshoeing and everything, everything. Any sport. We had tether balls and badminton and volleyball and tennis rackets and a net and everything. A lot of the stuff, except for like my tennis racket, that was new, but and my ice skates were new, but a lot of stuff was like secondhand stuff, like my skis and, but that's not a big deal if they're good things, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not like really particular like that, but I figured, sure, I wanted to have like really cute snow outfits and stuff, but I could, back in the day, we called it hot dogging, like going down the slope backwards and then flipping around and jumping and all kinds of stuff that I do that people in cute suits couldn't do. So it's like, yeah, that's okay then anyway, because they don't like me anyway. So, and if I look too cute, they'd hate me even worse. So, you know, sometimes ugly is a good thing. No. Oh, speaking of that, it was funny. Um, Passed around a post that said something like, um, and it was a joke, sorta, but if you don't show your face on Facebook, you must be ugly, and we don't want to see you either, or something like that. But I've told people that before. It's like, it's called Facebook. Why aren't you showing your face? I just wonder. I don't have a recent picture. I got an old one up there, but and I'm gonna take a new one of these days. But it's like I'm out here every day anyway, and I still look like me. So I've looked like me all my life. So, isn't that something? I bet you did too. We have that in common. Wow, that's incredible. So yeah, I shared it for that person that put out some great information, but it was too spineless to put a share button on there. It's like if you have good information and you want to talk, but everybody you're talking to knows the same information, you're just trying to impress yourself. You're not trying to reach new people with any thoughts that you have. You're just flapping your gums. That's really what it boils down to, and it is irritating, you know. People I listen to, they usually have something to say, like something real to say, you know? So I don't know if you watched my last video I shared. Dr. Scott Jensen, he was a senator for the state of Minnesota just right up until last year. And he's running for governor, and I hope he makes it. He won't deny anybody service in his clinic for getting health care if they haven't had the jab. He doesn't care one way or another, whether you want it or you don't want it. He doesn't, and he's not going to force anything on anybody. They tried to investigate him 5 times to try and take his license away because here a couple years ago, his secretary came into him and said, "Look at this from the health department. They want me to falsify information on people's charts, whether they had died from the C19 or not, to just state that they had." And she said, "I'm not going to do this." And he said, "I'm not going to do this either." So then the next thing you know, he had a couple people making like false claims, trying to get his medical license taken away and having him go before, literally lying about him before the medical board. And that happened 5 times in the last 2 years. So he wants to put an end to all this. And he said he was reading in the New York Times where one woman had asked, "When is all this going to end? When's it going to be back to normal or be over?" And he said, "It'll never be over." He said, "But it will go, back to normal when we start ignoring it." Because he said, like, even in children or healthy adults, it's like a mild flu. So, and he's a really good man, a very nice person. So if you get a chance to watch that video, just to kind of get the idea of what some doctors and professionals are trying to say in the world, and they aren't stupid people, and all of them have taken courses in microbiology. And did you know that Dr. F has not literally practiced in the medical field from a physician to a patient in over 30 years? That's a fact. He actually has no clientele. He caters to the government. Well, that's not very cool. One little toad's opinion versus all kinds of medical professionals that know viruses can't be transmitted like that. AIDS, same thing. It's a virus. It's not airborne. Never has been. Never will be. But like I said, maybe if somebody opened your mouth and spit in it, perhaps you could contract that by droplets. But it would have to be actual saliva contact in a membrane of yours, So like sexually transmitted or something like that. So, and this is a fact. There's another doctor on YouTube. He went thoroughly into it. He used to study with Dr. F and Dr. Tenpenny. She is another one, and they're both highly rated microbiologists that worked with alongside Dr. F. Well, Dr. Andrew Kaufman worked with him on the cure for the AIDS virus 25 years ago or more now. So these aren't stupid people. These are people that know what's going on, and they're trying to get the word out. And it seems like if you have good information like that, people won't share it. But then on the other hand, they'll have information that's really good and won't make it shareable. So it's like, go give it a break, honey. Nobody needs your spineless crap out here. We're speaking up, you know. Well, I'm going to let it go on that. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. Happy Sunday or Monday, wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.